Marty, are you there? We just wanted to make sure you could hear us and we could hear you.
I apologize.
Marty, can you talk again? Sorry.
Is she muted on her side?
She is not, but I think the speaker might be set to...
Okay, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Okay.
Hey, honey, I need help.
Oh, Marty, we got you now, Marty. I think it was
Oh, you
on,
can hear me, okay, good.
I think it was on our end.
Is the left covered?
She's gonna, she had a last minute emergency event, so she said she didn't think she'd even be able to Zoom.
Recording in progress.
Well, the little hand is on the 5 and the big hand is on the 3, so let's call this meeting to order. It is, Sunset Empire Park and Recreation District, January 27th, 2026. Sue, will you lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Declaration of potential conflicts. Catherine.
Only that, I am on the executive board.
Thank you. Sue.
None.
Michael?
I don't believe so, no.
None for me. Public comment. Any members of the public wish to speak?
Can you get my sign-in sheet? Jay, are you wishing to offer public comment?
No.
Marty, are you wishing to offer public comment?
Yes,
Okay. Go ahead, Marty.
okay. Once again, I come to you in exasperation regarding the floor in the women's shower. Ever since I met with you, Kyle, I thought perhaps the door had opened and that a remedy would be sought, but in fact, I keep getting put off and put off. First, Skylar was looking for an instrument with which to measure the slipperiness. Then there was a specialist who came from the Special District Association to look at the floor and inspect it for some reason. Again, nothing has been done except putting up a sign to the entrance at both locker rooms where it asks, district staff are working to keep our locker rooms slip and fall free. Here's how you can help. Only use what you need. Minimize product buildup. Keep hair and beauty products off the floor. Avoid using products in high traffic zones. Alert staff if you notice slick areas. Walk carefully, it's already a wet area. Once again, we're going around the mulberry bush. Nothing has been done, only, I don't know, stalling. I don't know why we're stalling. I don't know why we can't call Cascade unless they're not in business anymore, because I tried calling them, and there's no answer, and there's no machine, nobody picks up. So I don't know, perhaps they're not in business anymore, but there's got to be some flooring company somewhere, I bet closer than Sublimity, Oregon, that could remedy the problem and put a coat down that's a non-skid coat. And so I know you can't answer this question now, but I would like an answer at some point. Why are we stalling? Why do we keep putting off remedying the problem of the slippery floor? I mean, who else are you going to have come in to look at it? We know that there's an issue. We have had several. We've had many accidents. We had one death. We had a broken wrist, and a teacher had to be taken out of the locker room in an ambulance on a stretcher after she fell. I have been asking the board for years, and Kyle, I've got to say, I'm disappointed. I thought there would be some activity, I thought there would be some action, but there is none. It's just they keep running around, and I don't understand why they're stalling. I really don't. So at some point, I'd like an explanation why we don't just get it fixed. Really, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Unless there's something, I don't know. I don't know I don't know what's under all this cover and all this stalling, but something needs to be done with that floor, and it needs to be done sooner than later. Putting signs up are not going to get, is not going to get this floor unslippery. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marty. And we will discuss that tonight during the board meeting. Any other people wish to speak to the board? Hearing none, let's move on. Recognition of our employees of the month. I say employees because we have the month of December and we have the month of January. Right. So our employee of the month for the month of December is Michaela Montez. Michaela consistently goes above and beyond for our district. She tackles any task with enthusiasm and is always eager to help. Her willingness to step in whenever needed, even switching classrooms to support staffing and ratios, shows her incredible flexibility and dedication to our youth programs. Right now, she's excelling in her role in infant toddler care while still maintaining strong relationships and rapport with our older kiddos in the villages. Her reliability, positive attitude, and commitment make her an invaluable asset to our team. Thank you, Michaela, for everything you do. Thank you, Michaela. Our employee of the month for January is Matt Lawrence. We're proud to recognize Matt Lawrence as our employee of the month. Matt is an outstanding choice for this recognition because, as head lifeguard, fitness instructor, and recreation leader, he constantly goes above and beyond in every role he fills. He brings energy and professionalism to the fitness classes, creates a positive and welcoming environment while leading adult basketball, and ensures safety and excellence on deck as head lifeguard. Thank you, Matt. Let's see, Skylar, you need to sign that. Matt, we have a little paper turkey for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I want to say, I don't know Michaela, but I do know Matt because I've seen him start with a group of lifeguards, and he just has, in my opinion, he's just excelled in every aspect of patron care, and I'm just very grateful. Also, we have some fun with some things that, you know, previous lifeguards have played with, and that's not meant to be cryptic, it's just meant to be fun. And so I'm grateful to see, I'm grateful that when we saw a changing of the guard and several lifeguards stepped away, I'm very grateful that we're in good hands with somebody like that. And I am very, very pleased to be in the water when he's watching over me.
Thank you, Matt. Glad you're on our team.
Thank you. Thanks, all.
Now,
I'm
Courtney.
going to go do that basketball.
Courtney.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Come on up.
All right.
His name is Skylar.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just
And
point.
we're going to move pretty fast.
All right. I'll try to make it quick.
We only have Catherine for a little
I
bit.
don't rush
Well,
my account.
I want to make sure that you've heard that the men in the, whatever happened to the men's flooring has been very positive. So take credit for that.
Yeah. We're trying to figure something out.
Courtney, you just,
That's a really nice picture.
cue me when you're ready.
All right, so facility maintenance specifications for.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a picture on there. Maintenance mission to ensure our facilities operate safely and reliably every day, supporting our organization's mission of positive life activities for everyone. The M team, as we call ourselves, we got myself, the maintenance technician, 2 part-time grounds and field staff, 2 custodial staff, and a collective effort from managers as well as staff from other departments that are always willing to do helping hand with I like to sign something on there warning if you don't schedule time for maintenance, your equipment will schedule it for you. And the true statement. Some of the things we do, so like preventing maintenance, we proactively cleaning all the time, lubricating and testing machinery and electrical systems to prevent breakdowns. Corrective repairs, fixing broken, malfunctioning, or damaged equipment, electrical systems and plumbing. Facility upkeep, cleaning, maintaining the structural integrity of the buildings, painting, flooring, and roof repairs. Equipment monitoring, running diagnostic checks, monitoring performance to ensure the machine operates efficiently. Safety and compliance, ensuring all the equipment and facilities meet the regulatory standards, safety codes and health requirements. Documentation and inventory, we managing spare parts, ordering supplies, sourcing them, and keeping accurate records of maintenance activities and work orders. Planning and scheduling, coordinating shutdowns, and managing the life cycle of our assets. So I put, it's kind of an estimate, but at least 25% or more of our team's time is spent on daily unexpected events or items. Just like things that just pop up, graffiti, fire, life has its own plans, Steve. So why maintenance is very reactive is facility systems operate continuously and experience high daily use. Pools and locker rooms involve constant water exposure, increasing failure risk. Mechanical and electrical systems can fail without warning. Safety and compliance issues require immediate responses. Weather impacts on the roofs, fields, drainage, and exterior systems. User-caused damage and misuse occur every day. And many issues must be addressed immediately to avoid closure and program concerns.
Not really, I'm gonna do that to our skateboard.
No, I typically shop now, but
Okay.
I did,
You
there's
say
some
that?
graffiti right now, but I saw today actually.
Okay, that's pretty trendy for our area.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. Always make it look.
I value, sensation.
Thanks for calling.
Well, it looks kind of like ours, so I'm like,
Yeah. So one project we completed this year was working with Energy Trust of Oregon. We updated our old inefficient pool pumps in the LP pool, and we replaced them with new variable drive pumps, saving us both time and money over the next several years. So that's the old ones there. And there's the new ones. We were able to do all the work in-house, and we later received 100% reimbursement for the cost of the pumps.
Nice.
Didn't cost us only cost us $5,000. And saved us money.
Yeah.
Alright. So last year when I did my presentation, we just barely discovered this water damage in the gym. So, next one is we removed all the damaged stuff and replaced with new.
Is that an insurance?
Part of it, a lot of it was covered by insurance, and a lot of it we did. Then there's the completed finished job. So roof leaks are a challenging maintenance issue due to difficult diagnosis and weather constraints. We spend a significant amount of time each year finding and repairing leaks throughout all facilities. Doing different patch jobs, these are just some of the ones we've done most recently.
Some SRC, like over by the boiler room,
This is in the hallway, next to the.
that one spot where
Number seven,
When
yeah.
can I get to go up there?
Whatever you want, I guess.
That's
Sure,
not
some
new.
places, okay. There's another one, this is up above the gym too.
Thank you.
This one's above, on the side of the gym too, in the hallway there. Yeah, anyways, we got lots of these.
It's an old
drain?
drain, it needs a new roof.
A drain or?
That's a drain right there, yeah. So a lot of times you'll get, that'll be a spot where you'll actually get a lot of leaks just because.
Well, they put the drain right next to the scupper.
Yeah, they always put a scupper right there going out in case it gets so full that the drain can handle it.
So what's the scupper?
Just a hole in the wall for the water to fall out.
Okay.
The drain hasn't covered it under the, just had it off. This one's above the old music room. So shut down last year, shut down. We did some tile regrounding. There's Matt, plumbing and line, Brandon, our maintenance technician. That was quite the project. Taking all that out and putting it back in. One of during shutdown, was repairing a broken valve on our surge tank, so it hadn't been working properly for the last couple of years. And, the valve on it actually, that little black piece right there, it's a little plastic valve piece, and it was like $2,500 for that, just that little piece. And, the valve itself is going to be very costly, so there, with all his creativity skills, was able to 3D print us a replacement valve this work.
That is awesome.
That is,
That is awesome.
and it works perfectly, like, for how long?
So far, so good.
Well, and just
You
put
must-
another one.
It was 25 cents.
I mean, put as many as we want.
Yeah.
Now you have the file.
Yeah, it's a job to, you have to drain the pool clear down.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And we cleaned that tank, it was all shiny, see how nice and shiny that was? That was all nasty and green and gross before, so, yeah. Polished it up real nice. We put a new fresh paint with a new color scheme around the pool edges, and then also in the gym and bathroom. Lots of cleaning and polishing, like I said, getting everybody fixed in the house, so. And just to prove that, yes, I do help do some of the work, I actually appreciate myself.
All 30 seconds.
Yeah. So maintenance isn't just about fixing things when they break. It's about keeping people safe, protecting our buildings, and keeping the facilities ready for the community every day.
Awesome. Thank you, Courtney. Just a quick question. How many competencies do you guys have? I mean, you know, roofing, plumbing, electrical.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to do everything. Man. If you don't know, you teach yourself.
Yeah, well, it's pretty impressive what you guys are doing.
Can you say anything about the men's locker room floor?
Just still a work in progress. So we've tried a couple different projects, and they tried them out, and the one didn't work out. So it didn't fit, and then the other one we just tried was kind of opposite. So
I mean, I asked people to comment, because I won't be walking in there, and, they said, you know, and Paul, I'm talking about Terry, and I think you had commented that, the flooring in the men's locker room was A-okay.
yeah,
That's what
I mean,
Terry
it's
said.
in all the other pools and areas I've been in locker rooms, it's the exact same products we have in other places. So kind of just one of them things that locker rooms are a slippery place. I mean, no matter what you do, it's going to be. You know,
Can we improve the surface in the women's locker room?
I mean, there's probably always room for improvement on anything, but it's just,
Well, Marty's been complaining about this for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to keep it on the front burner and figure out what the solution is.
well, I know them were done in 2019, I think. It was cascade floors, and I'm not sure like what the life expectancy is on it, but I mean, you know, our facility's not like a real heavily used one. So I mean, it should be, that product seems to help it good, I think.
Well, and I just know that as you know, 11 o'clock was commented to me, well, I'm in the pool every 5 days a week at 11, so I'm on premises. So I just appointed me to do puddle control. And I bring in whoever might be at the front desk, and really, the only spot that we saw that was fairly consistent, and actually yesterday it was not there, was outside of that, in-between stall, you know, the middle, toilet stall. And it's not much, it's just a little bit. And believe me, I'm wearing the same slippers that I slipped in before when Justin was here. And I personally am not slipping, and I'm grateful for the sign. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I know signs are important, and people, I asked somebody, did you notice the fall sign? Oh, yeah, that green thing. So, you know, we're trying.
Well, the mission is to keep us safe, so
Yeah, exactly.
keep it on the front burner.
Yeah, I think that the significant problem is like the oceans and the shampoos and this, or like, I almost looked in my own bathtub last night just because, you know, there's something you have to.
Well, and I send him pictures. I will not take pictures if there is one person in that, space. But when it's empty, I will take a picture. And I have sent those off to him and said, this is what I see. So, I mean, I'm still listening and trying to help make sure that we have a safe environment for all our patrons.
Thanks for everything you do, Courtney, really appreciate it.
You don't have to say.
Okay, approval of, board meeting and workshop minutes, and Skylar, I'd like to thank you or your staff for putting them all in the same document, thank you. So, are there any additional comments on the meeting minutes from the workshop and the board meeting on November 25th?
Well, I would like to, move that we accept the board workshop minutes on November 25th.
Is there a second?
Do we need, since they're on the same page, do you want both of them in one motion?
That'd be great.
Do not amend your motion to include the whole.
Did you not just say this again? Okay, I move that we, accept the board workshop minutes from the November 25th and the board meeting minutes from the same day, November 25th, 2025.
I'll second.
We gotta fix that date.
Any comments? Yeah, 2:05. All in favor, so signify by saying aye. Oh, we got a roll call, that's right. Catherine,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Michael? Aye. And there's just a minor, scrivener's error.
Had some problems with my numbers.
Yeah, I think, November 25th, Diocletian was, well, I think was in order.
Kind of Walker.
Let's see, review financials. Yeah. Are there any comments about the two financial statements, one from November and one from December?
I have a bunch of questions, because I didn't get to ask.
Okay. Do you wanna
So,
talk through them here?
well, I want to ask one silly question. Look at the very bottom, oh, I'm sorry, no. So, at the very bottom of the page, the 4,532,119.00.
Wait, what page are you on?
It's on the
Oh,
back, I
it's
just
bled
moved it
over,
to the bottom.
okay.
That number is identical to the next month, and I wondered if that was not correct. So when you look at the two, look at the same spot, and the numbers are identical. And
4, 5, that's the budget.
Yeah, that's what was proposed in the budget.
right, but that's okay?
Yeah, the budget number stays the same.
Okay.
Probably a good sign.
Yeah.
So,
So, Skylar, I just had one, question. And I'm looking at the face sheet for, November 30th and the face sheet for December 31st, so 1 month apart. And in November, we had spent 32% of our budget. And by December, we spent 50% of our budget. So we spent 20% of our budget in a month.
Probably from the shutdown.
that was my question too.
Yeah, so I would say the shutdown, definitely, but there's also a number of, expenses that we were likely waiting until tax revenues came in.
Okay.
And so you see,
We just deferred
Yeah.
items.
and I also think we make a payment, on the SRC loan,
Bond.
on the bond in December, and I see it on here, it's about $20,000,
Okay.
$17,500, so that's a good chunk, probably what that is.
That's the one on mill settlement.
No, I believe it's, I had it for a second, and I just lost it. It's Zion's Bank.
Oh.
And on December 19th,
Yeah.
17,574.
And that's, principal only? And
I think
then
that's,
or interest only?
I
and then
think
we
that's
pay
interest only, and then
principal
principal
and
only
interest
is in July.
In June or July, okay.
Say that again?
Well, it's interest only once in the year, and then it's principal and interest the second, if I understand it correctly.
So Because I did, I was wondering, okay, so the 1695, I'm sorry. The $1,695.83 at the very bottom of page 1 of 3 for 11/1 to 11/30, that's the Zions Bank. And that is,
I was referring to the one in December, Sue, it's on the December report, but it's,
I mean, there's two of them.
substantially more. Yeah, I'm not sure what the November one is for, maybe that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's of interest, and then we did a principal and interest.
Maybe a service charge.
Yeah, I can ask though.
On the December one, so our taxes that we've gotten so far, about 90%, are we feeling, is that where we normally are?
Typically, yeah, and around that percent. We're still getting some that trickle in, and then it'll be, most of it's there, with the exception of timber tax and some of the other small taxes that roll in throughout the year.
I want to pause. Is there a problem that
Oh, boy.
that parking's not here?
Oh.
Yeah, my screen may have frozen. Thank you, Sue.
Goes Courtney.
I was like, Courtney, where'd she go? I was like, oh, where is Courtney? I mean, now,
Well, this is a new problem.
I was good. Well, nobody has a fever. It's just been,
Still says recording.
Yeah, I just diagnosed with her,
Yes.
my kids.
Yes, Dr.
Which is like, it's a mini flu. It's like no fever, but all the other symptoms of the flu.
Yeah, but
Let's see, my child last week had a fever and a vomit for one day. We have several staff
there we go.
out this week.
All you had to do was walk over here.
Okay, we're back.
Good job spreading the technology.
No, I think it was recording, and this feed, as a reminder, isn't the public feed. The public views the camera through our YouTube page, which is up there. This is just for our preservation. We have to preserve the board meeting. This is the feed that we used to do that, and that we engage with, like if Marty or Celeste wanted to join, then that's how we do that part.
So are there any other questions about November financial statement?
So you asked a question about the taxes, that is where it's supposed to be.
Yep.
What I was looking at was just the same question that Kyle had, and I just want to make sure I got the answer. You know, it was like, we went from 30%, like for example, I'm used to seeing Zoe, you know, and, sorry, recreation being high, and it was low, and then it kind of caught up to where it's supposed to be in the next month, and I just want to make sure that's normal. I mean, there's no question.
Well, I suspect you hold off on all capital purchases until after your taxes come in, so. Yeah. Are there any questions about the December financial statement?
I did have one other question too. I mean, like I said, I did get to connect with Chris. I wanted to ask why Haley Wilding is still getting money.
Yeah, so that's the last payment. We had a special contract with Haley after she left full-time employment with the district to handle some of our marketing duties. And so she has finished up that part of her duties, and now we have other, internal folks that are handling the marketing responsibilities. But it was to make sure that we had a good transition plan, and skills of the HR person that we hired. She does have some marketing skills, but we really wanted to make sure we hired a qualified HR person and not necessarily a split role as we have in the past. So we're all through, I believe, with that part of the contract, and Haley's happy in those terms.
I mean, the thing that I'm missing from this page is, you know, where Chris details who some of this stuff is,
Yeah, I can help with that if
like
there's
accurate
specific
balancing
questions.
agency and,
Yep, so that's, I'll refer to that in my, under the project report. But that's the agency that we hired to do testing and balancing in the SRC to check, ventilation and airflow and those types of things, and that's helping us with the occupancy process.
so the Northwest Local Government Legal Advisor, how is that different from the SDIS?
Yeah, so SDIS is not, associated, I mean, they are associated with SDAO, but SDIS is our insurance. Could be, that's most likely our health insurance premium for employees. Northwest Local Government Legal Advisor is a fancy way of saying I lead our council that we work with on some issues. So that was her fee, I believe, for working through,
We did the contract.
the intergovernmental agreement with
Yeah.
Suicide Kids.
Yeah.
She helped review and provide
Okay.
some feedback.
I don't remember that. So I have a silly question.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you're down on page 1 of 3 on 12/1 to 12/31 budget, and I know, I understand, but the payable count was 50, but the payable count was 37. And usually when you see the 37 to 50, you could go back up here and say, okay, there were 2 checks drafted to, I'm trying to think of one of them, like Ranger.
Uh-huh.
And I just don't see, what is it, sorry.
It's okay. That would be a better question for Chris, and I'm sure there's a logical explanation. I'm not sure what it is, the difference between those two numbers.
I mean, because usually I can go find them.
The first number is the checks that have been sent out, the second one is those that have been cashed. So,
Because it has to do with the fact that he only wrote 1 check to Granger, but there were 2 requests. So that's why we have the just, 50 versus 37. And so when you count Granger, it's 37 and 38. And when you count the other one that because this is what I've gone back and forth with him before, it makes perfect sense. He just says, like Granger and Vanessa Valaquez, took 2 draws. So that's 37, 38, 39, it's like, where's the other 10?
Yeah.
And I usually can find them in here when I go down the list and then comparing, and I didn't see it this time. And so that's a question for him that I was gonna ask, but I'm sorry, I couldn't get,
No worries.
I couldn't get
When
here.
you're feeling better, let's connect, we can connect
Yeah.
with Chris.
And I'm sure it is just fine.
yeah, but it's a good thing to point out, Sue, and let's check with Chris offline and get the answer.
I'm so sorry, because
So, any other questions about the December statement? And I'm seeing here, Skylar, we got about $1.52 in the bank, $1.50.
Yeah.
Are we good for cash flow?
We're all right for right now. Yeah, my brain's a little mixed up because we're beginning the budget process, but yeah, we're okay. We're
Okay.
where we should be.
I like that, $1.50.
So is there a motion to accept the November financial statement?
I'll motion to make this November
Is
financial.
there a
Yeah,
second? Catherine,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Is there a motion to approve the December financial statement?
You want to do this one?
I don't want to do anything, so go home.
I motion we approve the December statement.
Is there a second, Mike?
I'll second it.
Okay. Catherine,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. So, Skylar, old business.
Yeah, let's try to work through some of these items, that we have talked about before, but, important updates. So, the strategic plan update is the first item. as everyone knows, we had, I think, some really good momentum after our November meeting to move forward working with Brandon, and we had Kyle and Celeste that were appointed by the board to do some of that work. And we had a little bit of momentum, and then it fizzled away, unfortunately, really quickly. And we can get into the reasons for that at another point. But as you all know, I shared with you in an update that Brandon from Scott Edwards Architecture has left employment with that architecture firm to transition to a different architecture firm. So he shared that information with us about 10 days ago or so, and I do want to share. We met with the representatives from the architecture firm from Scott Edwards today, and we have a new point of contact who's familiar with our project. He has helped a little bit with the strategic plan. He's been here on our facilities. His name's Tim Gordon. He was with us on the facility tours that I think maybe a couple of the board members, I know Celeste, maybe Mike went on a couple of years ago when we toured a few of the other facilities, and he's helped with the strategic plan and others. I also want to share happily that Sid Scott, one of the founders of the Scott Edwards Architecture, the Scott and Scott Edwards Architecture, was also on the call and is pledging to offer his full support to help get this project and other projects that Brandon has been kind of spearheading for Scott Edwards on, help us get those across the finish line. So we're trying to find a Friday that would work to have our next iteration of this meeting, and we scheduled it for just a couple weeks out, but Friday, February 20th. And I sent that to Kyle and Celeste today, but we'll meet with those folks, and what they're asking for is really specific feedback to help us get the plan to the point where it's usable and approved by the board and finish the project. And I think that's our goal too.
Mm-hmm.
So happy to report that. Other than those items, there hasn't been a lot else to report on the plan. Moving on, transitioning to the occupancy process, we continue to work really hard on this. Man, it's like a race where I wouldn't say the finish line's getting moved, but it's in sight. We felt like the right step for the district was to hire this firm, Accurate Balancing Agency, to do the testing and balancing report, and that would show the engineering firm, Interface Engineering, as well as the city, where the building may have deficiencies in ventilation, fresh air ventilation, or maybe it doesn't have as many deficiencies as we once thought. And so that report is near complete. It was pretty fascinating to watch the work that they do. They put these sensors over this type of unit, and they measure the ventilation that comes out and the fresh air movement. As you all can guess, the part of the building that was constructed in the 1940s does not have any ventilation. The ventilation at the time was turn the heat on or open the windows.
Right.
Yeah, so we know that the building will be deficient in parts, but what we're hoping for is that the other parts of the building will be adequate, or we'll know especially which rooms need to be improved on. And we don't think it's going to require a massive system overhaul, although that will be helpful at some point down the road, but it won't require that. Once that report is sent to us, then we will send it to Interface as well as to the city. We've had a number of conversations, Brandon has before he left SEA, and I have as well, with the building official, and they're very eager to help us get a temporary certificate of occupancy as soon as that report is completed and we send it to them. So I'm holding my breath a tiny bit to make sure that we can jump over that hurdle when it comes to it, but they're eager, asking us for updates, working collaboratively with us in support, expressing their desire to help us get to that point, and obviously we're eager to get to that point as well.
Does it appear that we do not have to spend $80,000 before?
Yeah, I think I get the gist of your question. So that will be a decision that we will be able to make later. What the feedback that I've heard from the city is that we'll be able to get the temporary certificate without spending that money or pursuing a full HVAC replacement. Now, that may be a condition of the temporary certificate of occupancy. So that temporary certificate of occupancy could be for 2 years. And they may say at the end of that 2-year period, you need to have had the HVAC system replaced to address the fresh air ventilation. So that part is still kind of in flux depending on the results of the testing and balancing report. But it does sound like it's likely that we won't have to have the report, the full mechanical report completed.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think that's it for occupancy. SDC update. Okay. Is it, if it's okay, maybe can I do the EVCS charging station update and the locker room flooring, and then circle back to SDC?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, I should have put that in a better order. But lots of developing news over the last kind of 36 hours or so. So and it was down to the wire. I have been reaching out to EVCS many times, like a mosquito, and haven't been able to connect with anybody. The individual that we worked with to establish the agreement, Charlie, is I think he's retiring or transitioning to another role in the organization. But I did get to speak to their new project manager that's assigned to the project, and I spoke with him at about 4 o'clock today. But I took some notes, and then he sent me an email. The project has been delayed, but for reasons that are understandable. So they had some holdups with getting the Federal Highway Administration to approve the design, and that was related to a lot of things that are going on in the federal government, including a pretty significant shutdown and some reductions in that part of their operations. They don't have any, they expect that the funding is secure. It's already been sent to the state for disbursement, and so if it was still within the federal government, I think he indicated that it would be worrisome, but since the funding has already been sent to the state, we're just waiting on local approval that the project will move forward. They expect to get what's called a notice to proceed from the Federal Highway Administration in the next month or so, and once they have that, they'll be able to move forward with permitting and start the work after that. They shared a soft deadline of having the project completed by next late fall, early winter next, I guess, 2026. So,
well, they told us when we signed the contract that they were going to start September 25.
They did, yeah. So I'm just relaying what they shared. We've been in touch with the city about the plan as well as with Pacific Power. I'm just happy that we actually have a contact that now is established, and that project seems like it's still moving forward, albeit at a slower pace than what we once thought.
What about the dog park?
Yeah, that's a part of the conversation that we're having. The city continually to, either relocate the dog park or find another location for it. I guess that's the same thing. Relocate the dog park or adjust the existing site to accommodate the dog park and the charging. So, kind of ongoing there. But we haven't moved too fast on it because we were waiting for good communication to come from EVCS, and it has.
Awesome.
Okay, women's locker room flooring. Okay, so you did hear from Marty. I think you don't want to discount what she's saying in any way, but I am going to present, I think, our perspective, the staff perspective. It hasn't left our radar. It's on the agenda of our management team meeting. Nearly every conversation that I have with Darren and or Courtney about the locker room includes this topic. I know when I talked to Kyle, we have discussed it, and we've continued working on it. So we did think that the solution that we were aiming for in the men's locker room would be a good solution for the women's locker room, and to be quite candid, even though I think you got some great feedback, which is awesome, we are worried that that product will not withstand the environment of the women's locker room, that it won't measure up, and it's really hard for us to commit to a product that we have any reservations about because it requires significant investment and resources and time and shutting down the locker room for a period of time to apply a product. So we met with actually the manager from Sherwin-Williams. There's products that they're making that are appropriate for this. He's doing some research, but just to lay it out for you all, it's not an easy fix. We need a product that's capable of being submerged in water for a period of time, because that's the likeliness that it will happen. There is some puddling in the women's locker room, there's puddling in the men's locker room. We need it to be a two-part epoxy. We need to be able to add grit so that there's some texture. We need to be able to clean it. We need to be able to apply it with a roller. So those are some pretty specific things. To be candid, I think Marty is right that we could call a flooring company, not Cascade Flooring, sorry, but a different flooring company, and pay them a significant amount of money and have them install a product or apply a product in the space that may work better. However, our concern, and I think maybe it's shared by the board, is that sometimes those products don't work even right after they're applied. When we talk to folks that have had other flooring contractors apply the product in their locker room spaces, even our friends down in the hill that have a brand new locker room with new textured floors, they're still having slips. Their floor is still slippery in a similar fashion to ours. We have a lot of staff that work down there that have worked here, and they know our locker room surface, and they've attested that it's a very similar texture, and the possibility of slipping still occurs. So it's been difficult for us to really want, I guess, to invest the resources that we have, which are not great.
Limited.
Yeah, limited, yeah. In something that we are concerned will not work, and the implications of shutting that space down for a period of time.
I want to comment that I was there the day we opened after the shutdown, and the positive comments, including Marty, were about how tight the floor was. That was something she said. And I was asking my resources, what do you think of this? So I don't know if something in what we did that made the floor better at that particular time, because it didn't last.
Like the first day after shutdown?
Right there, the first day after shutdown, I was right there. I was asking, hey, this is great, this is good. Let's see how it holds up. Like I said, the floor feels tighter, and then all of a sudden, within 10 days, that was gone. Those comments, those comments, I didn't hear them again. And I did hear, the floor is still good.
Yeah, what I would suspect, I think, is that tightness or the grip that we experienced was a result of not having the traffic in there and not having showers, and the floor is as clean as it could possibly be when we reopen. It's been given care and paid careful attention to, and we just haven't had the foot traffic that we have day in and day out. I do want to touch base on a couple other things. We did talk, I don't remember who brought it up, but as far as we know, there is no device that can measure the slipperiness of the floor. We did have our risk management consultant from SDAO come, and he was actually here to assess the damage from the vehicle accident that we had in, I want to say, September. And we asked him to come take a look at the locker room, and we cleared the space, or it was available for him to look at, and he attested that it was a little bit slippery, but that it felt like a traditional pool locker room floor, and that in his experience in spaces like that, it was similar or equal to those experiences. He didn't say we shouldn't do anything. He didn't say anything. He encouraged us to take steps that we had already taken to contact other pools and see what product they were using, to post signage, to consider mats or grip tape, which we are and have considered. So those were all some of the suggestions that he made. Marty also asked me for a list of the steps that we have taken to improve the situation, and she attested, or she commented in an email to me, as she did today, that we are putting her off, and I think that is her opinion, and it's fair for her to say that, but we have taken a number of steps to work on this problem. We purchased a new auto scrubber, which I shared information about with the board, and we're using that. We have more frequent inspections by our aquatics and maintenance teams, and if necessary, we'll clean and squeegee the floor during the day. We have installed a new signage, working on a solution testing solution in the men's locker room, which isn't probably going to work, and then a lot of communication with our other local and regional pools to see how their flooring is performing, what tips they have. The only tip that we've gotten is that when we do apply a new surface, that we make it have as much grit as possible, so that it almost hurts feet to walk on it. That's
Put gravel in
the
there.
best thing that folks recommend. Mike?
I kind of asked this question before, I guess. I think some of the slipperiness obviously is from soaps and shampoos. Can we regulate or control what substances are allowed to be used in the shower? You know, there are certain kinds of cleaners. You know, baby shampoo is not as slippery as some of the more lotiony, high-end stuff, I don't suppose, but the the lotions and conditioners and some of that stuff, maybe they're not really essential to getting clean at the pool, or leaving the locker room clean. It could be that some of the special maintenance, maybe shaving their, I assume some women might do personal hygiene, in the locker room. I don't know, with shaving, or
I've seen
maybe
men
men do
so it
shaving in the
wouldn't
shower.
surprise me if-
I shave in the shower, but I've never shaved in the shower in public. But I was wondering, and also the other thing that I mentioned is somehow lending out, we provide footwear for all the participants. Footwear would not be uncommon in a pool situation, and it certainly could reduce slip falls.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to bring
Is
it
there
up.
disposable footwear?
There
Like
is, I actually got a pair of something
little
from the hospital.
spongy
Like the
socks
hoodies,
or
like
something?
that you wear
Yeah.
when you go to an
And
open
it's-
house and they don't want you stepping on the carpet?
No, but it is, it's meant for getting wet.
You like those socks with the little
I
rubber
hope to
bumps on the
goodness I
bottom?
haven't thrown them away,
Yeah.
because they were a nuisance. If I
Well, we don't
find,
want to provide a nuisance to.
well, it was a nuisance to me, because it's like, if I can find those, because I was trying to get rid of them, if I can find them, because they're flimsy, and there's yellow stitching, and what caught my attention about they're different sizes.
Was that gonna make more of a tricky hazard?
I mean, I never used them, but they were in a bag of stuff that I brought home when I had my surgery. And yellow is a fall risk color, and what I noticed was they were stitched in yellow. And I thought, oh, that's funny, because I'm not really at fall risk. But, and they are, there's no depth to them, and if I put them, I never put them on.
But are they slippery on the bottom?
I don't know how to say that,
No.
but it
Well, if
is,
you can find them.
if I can find them, because
bring
I
to the
thought they
cell.
were a nuisance, and I was throwing them away.
I think,
So I
Skylar,
gotta go look for them.
it's apparent that what seems to be so simple, just put a surface on the floor and we're done. It's far more complex and involves far more things than just painting something down and putting some grit to it. And so, I apologize to Marty if we're not moving fast enough, but we're not gonna make this in her timeframe. This is gonna be.
I don't think we're stalling.
No, we're not stalling, we're just trying to do it
That's not
right
true.
the first time, so we don't have to do it again. So, just charge the hill, keep doing what you're doing and figure out a solution, and we'll go from there.
I still maintain that we should just go buy some of those rubber ducky bathtub stickers.
Yeah.
Aren't those what you mentioned, the grip things?
So grip tape is like, a little more of an industrial product, and it's, you see it on like outdoor stairs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's black usually.
Right.
And we have thought about it, I think, and it could be a temporary solution. I think what we're worried about is when you remove the grip tape, it's often removing some of the adhesive, or at least the color and paint of the surface that's on there. And our risk management consultant had a lot of experience with grip tape, and he said that it typically will only last for a couple, like 2 to 3 weeks in a very wet environment like that. So we have to replace it pretty frequently. So I don't know.
The rubber duckies?
What we viewed as a good, I don't want to say it's our first step, but it's a step, was the signage, and to see if that encouraged our participants or our patrons in any way to be a little more cautious in the area, and to consider how the products that they were using, if it is a factor, and I certainly don't know if they can minimize the area that they're applying the product, or just be a little more mindful of it.
I mean, I still go back to my earlier comments about part of the reason that the women's locker room is more of a challenge than the men's is because the kids typically are in the women's locker room with their moms. And I personally have yelled at multiple children to stop having, you know, water fights with products, and so it does get spread everywhere. So I mean, back to Mike's comment a little bit, a significant portion of what the children are playing with is what we provide. Maybe not as slippery as high, you know, like, can we get something different in there that maybe isn't creating more of a problem? I don't know if I phrased that correctly, but.
You said, sorry, a significant portion of what.
The kids, so, you know,
Like
they're playing with
they'll
the
play
free
with
stuff
it. Okay.
that's on the walls
Yeah.
and making a mess with that, and so like, if knowing that that's probably still gonna happen is what's in those, can we make that somehow less of a problem if it gets on the floor?
Make the
Like,
soap less slippery.
and well, but I mean, like, I don't think Mike's wrong in like, maybe if they're, you know, higher end conditioners and soaps and things, they're probably
We could look at that, yeah. I hadn't thought
slipperier
about that.
than just cheaper stuff. And
We
not
haven't
that
always
cheaper stuff,
provided,
but-
we haven't always provided those,
But I mean, I personally have yelled at children to like, hey, knock it off, and they're literally draining the thing and having a, you know, water fight in there.
And I will tell you that my experience is, you know, when the instructors are there with the kids and they've got a line and they send them through.
Yeah.
And so because we used to have patrons very upset that, you know, the kids were pulling the shower curtains back. And, you know, that has stopped because, at least during the time period I'm there, because you've got these two instructors that are running these kids through, and they've got a very organized process. So you don't see the
It's more like
the shampoo wars and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean it's not happening.
Do you have enough, Skylar?
I think so. We'll keep at it. I think the suggestions by Mike and others are great.
And Marty, if you're watching, we are not stalling this. We are continuing to find the right solution. SDC updates, Skylar.
Thank you. All right, so we have been working with our team, our consultants, and actually, had a meeting with them yesterday in the nick of time. So I know there's been a great deal of confusion and questions and discussion about SDCs. And I want to kind of update you all. Neither John nor Luke was able to be here tonight, and we lost, it's a trend for us, we lost Doug, who had come to the meeting in person. He transitioned to a role with the city of Portland and away from Bowman Group, or FCS, a Bowman company. But what the board had asked for was, so originally you got the data set in August, right? And you had the opportunity to adopt a SDC fee or less than they gave you the maximum, right? And you could adopt up to the maximum. There was discussion from the board and a request to staff to provide some phased-in models, which I did, I think in October. And I included some 3 years or 5 years or percentage of what you had. During that same time, we discovered in conversations with the city that some of the number of housing units, that number was inaccurate. And so we had to make some adjustments. What we thought was a larger number of available housing in the county was actually a smaller number. So we, once we got that number, that actually impacted our fee pretty significantly, and the fee, our opportunity to impose an SDC went up, or I guess the number was higher than it had been before. Then the board asked for a model that calculated the SDC on square footage. So that's what the consultants worked with us on. We had to redo our agreement with them and invest some additional resources, but that's what I'm going to present to you now. I think it would be beautiful and wonderful if the board could give some direction at the conclusion of this meeting. They certainly don't have to for implementing the fee. And it's in the best interest of the district, and according to John, the main principal with Bowman Group, that we do another 90-day hearing period like we did before, because we're looking at a little slightly different data set and a likely different number than we originally had. So there's not necessarily the crunch on timeline, but I do want to kind of try to provide the information. I am not an SDC expert, but I'm going to go through. This is the same presentation that they sent with some updates, and I haven't sent it out to you because I literally just got it a couple of hours before the meeting. But here is the total number of lodging units was the big one that changed. If you remember, this number we thought was closer to 20,000 for lodging units within the district, which never really sounded right, but it's based on data that we had gotten from the city. When they fully understood what we were doing, they were able to give us a more accurate number. So that number is now 2473, and it definitely impacts the other numbers that we get. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because none of this has really changed. But what that new number does is kind of change. Again, like I said, it makes the number a little bit bigger. So now the maximum SDC that we could impose for the different types of dwelling units is shown. So 16,000 for a single family, and then other fees are listed there. When we look at the square footage impact, if we were to go with that route, and this is based on their math and their calculations, and I will caveat this by saying that apparently within the last year, a square footage calculation is now a legal requirement in the state of Washington. So all the local governments that they work with to impose an SDC in Washington have a square footage calculation, and also some other jurisdictions in our state. Willamette Lane Park and Recreation District in Springfield has a square footage imposed SDC, and the city of Astoria does as well. So if you were just to look at the number, it's right here, sorry, I had to find it. The number is $9.69 per square foot. So if the board chose to impose an SDC based only on square footage, it would be $9.69. 951 square feet is the minimum to get a permit. So if you built something, a housing unit, I guess, that was smaller than 951 square feet, you wouldn't have to get a permit. But as soon as you hit that 950 mark, and then the maximum is 3,500 square feet. So that kind of gives you a range. The math is basically the same. It's just, as you all kind of requested, I think this was the purpose. It impacts people that are building smaller units less significantly than people that are building larger development. That's my very, very elementary way of putting it. I think you guys all understand. But what I would, again, I don't really have any other information or data to show you. Open to the discussion. I know Celeste was a big part of the discussion before. I think implementing a square footage model is one of the routes that you have. You can also go back to that original number of 16,000 and choose to implement that or a percentage of that. Remember that legally,
That's the ceiling.
that's the ceiling.
Yeah.
Legally, we are strongly discouraged from having a different percentage of that number for different types of units. So if you're only going to adopt an ordinance to have a 50% of that 16,000 number, that it's equal regardless of the dwelling, the type of dwelling unit. Whereas if you implement a fee based on square footage, then that's already kind of factored in. You'll have a fee that's calculated based on.
Is this what Willamette Lane is doing? They're based on square footage?
That's what John told me in our meeting yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that. I have talked to Willamette Lane a couple times, but I didn't realize they had square footage calculation.
So your ask of the board is to enter into another 90-day public hearing?
What I think would be in the best interest of us in this process is when we put out the public notice that we have the amount that the board is going to adopt. Now, we didn't have that the first time because we didn't have the full data set available to us. But this time we kind of do, and I think it would be wise. It's not wise when we issue the 90-day notice. It's not necessary, sorry, when we issue the 90-day notice, but I do think if we can, when we get to that 90-day period and we have our hearing, that the board is ready to adopt one of these models. Be it the phased-in model, be it the square footage model, be it the percentage of the maximum that we have, or the maximum. I think those are kind of your four options. Or I guess you could adopt phased-in model for square footage, where you're going to phase it in over a 3-year period to be easier on developers initially, and then work up to a percentage.
I would move that we hold an additional 90-day hearing period, and hopefully we can accomplish this before the end of the fiscal year.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Which way are you leaning towards? So I think what Tyler is asking is, before we do that 90-day, that we kind of come together as a board and decide which way we lean, which model we want. I would like Celeste present for that discussion, because she was huge.
Yeah, I agree.
Advocate for this process.
Yeah. So I don't know, my thoughts, I'm leaning towards square footage. I don't think we need to,
I think
what's the word?
Deliberate?
No, where you spread that.
Phase it in.
Phase, thank you, I don't think we need to phase it in. That's where I'm leaning, but I would advocate for, waiting until next meeting to kind of make that decision.
So we got a motion on the floor, so you want to withdraw your motion?
I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay.
I also was interested in the square footage, because I think it has a lot more equity in the community. Obviously, it's useful in other places too.
So I'm a little wishy-washy about this, you know. When we asked the consultant a question, the consultant came back with an answer, and, you know, we didn't like the answer, so we said, okay, consultant, come back and give us a different answer. And I was opposed to that process. I think when you ask for advice and they give you advice, you shouldn't say, well, give me different advice, because I don't like it. But I will say that I'm much more reassured about this, that there's equity for the community. But I didn't like the fact that we had to go back to the consultant to ask to come up with a different answer.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if only one other county is doing it this way, like, it may not be at the top of their, you know.
Well, yeah, I didn't really feel comfortable with the way that we went about it, but that's okay. I'm one vote, and I can express my opinion. But now that it's come back, I like this presentation.
Can we take, like, now that you kind of have a sense, can we table this until we have Celeste back next month, and then start the 90 days after that?
Well, like I said, I think we are able, like, we could post the hearing as we did before without you having decided. In fact, I would probably argue that it shouldn't, if we are gonna have the 90-day hearing, the board should wait until
After
that hearing, to make their decision. But I think in terms of helping the staff prepare and communicating the information as transparently and as much accurate information as possible, we can say in the hearing notice and in the published materials that this is the fee that the board is considering. It's going to be a square footage calculation. Here's the report, and they'll be able to scan the report and say, okay, it's $9.69 per square foot. That's what I need.
Just for residential.
Mm-hmm. That's what I need to be prepared for. So that doesn't have to happen. I don't think it has to happen after Celeste. In fact, I would, if we want to have it implemented by June 30th, then I think scheduling the 90-day notice, so that would put us like in April, right, to have an ordinance in place potentially.
So late March, we'd have to have our hearing.
No, April, right? Because
or February.
yeah.
April,
Let's just say the April board meeting, we are able to have the hearing, and then the board after that could adopt the ordinance to start imposing. But they could say, we want it enacted by July 1st or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know I'm
So
throwing a lot at
we've
you.
already voted for an ordinance.
You
But
have.
we haven't voted for the rates.
Right.
You haven't voted for the rates, and we didn't have the square footage calculation. So I think you just voted that you were going to adopt an ordinance at some point.
Well, it's too bad Celeste's not here.
Yeah, I will schedule some time with her, but I think.
Do we have to retract, do we have to vote away the original resolution?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You haven't changed your mind about that.
No.
You just,
No, we're trying
how
to
we're gonna
implement it.
Do we need Celeste just to schedule the 90 days? I know she'll be a participant in that.
I don't know, we have to
Here.
ask her.
Well, I think what he's saying is no, the answer is
Okay.
no. This, I guess staff is just wanting direction on what information
Well,
to share.
if we're gonna implement the square footage, which is what we were asking for information about, do we need the 90-day?
I think it's in the best interest of the district.
It's in the statute.
Yeah.
It's recommended.
So do you need a motion to start the 90 days?
I think that would be great.
Okay.
Dude, we've already got the ordinance. To schedule a public hearing? The chair will accept a motion for it.
Yeah.
I motion we start the 90-day public hearing process to SDC.
Yeah.
To conclude no later than June 30th?
Perfect.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, Catherine?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
Great.
Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Skylar.
Yeah. Glad that.
New business, public comment policy.
Yes. So in your, something I started working on in November after our experience with Mr. Knudsen from SDAO, we had our training on ethics. If you remember, part of his training was about public meetings and included some public comment discussion about how the best way to handle that and make sure that our public comment fit within statutes and best practices. So I tried to tackle that actually pretty quickly after that because I wanted to make sure that we were in alignment. So this is a little bit heavy and there's several appendixes. Essentially, I mean, we can go through it line by line, but what I'd really like to ask for you to do is to turn the first page to the provide recommendations for board consideration. And, sorry, just on the memo, the original memo, the first sheet.
Oh, I see.
And so it's our recommendation, staff's recommendation, to continue with our current practice of offering public comment. If you remember, we don't actually have to offer public comment, but it's in the it's a good practice, and obviously it gives the public some opportunity to engage with the board and ask questions and present their perspectives. Anyways, but what I'd like to do is get a motion to proceed with the following suggestions. Update our website with clarified information on public comment and other options to the public for submitting comment to the board, which is Appendix C. Update our printed materials. Those would be ones that would be available in our facilities and also here. And then share those materials with those who may be interested in offering public comment. Establish a system for individuals participating in board meetings remotely for those folks to register their desire to offer public comment. So right now, just to clarify, we allow public comment remotely, but we don't have really any way of asking those folks to register as they would if they were here. Here we ask them to write their name down on a sheet out in the lobby. We don't do that for when they're online. And it hasn't really impacted us in a negative way, but it certainly could if there was somebody online that wanted to offer public comment, but then use that platform to do inappropriate things or hijack the meeting. That was a trend a few years ago with folks hijacking public meetings on Zoom and displaying information that was, or saying information that was really offensive and inappropriate for that setting. So the city, for example, they have a process where if you want to offer public comment remotely, you can, but you have to register using kind of a form, a simple form at any point before the meeting up to like there's a cutoff of like, I don't know, midnight.
You have to be able to control that microphone, mute the microphone, then open the microphone.
Yeah,
like a chat room, you're raising your hand, you get noticed, but it's only at a certain time of the meeting.
But how do we satisfy the First Amendment rights?
Yeah, I think, it's within, the board can have a policy that ensures that folks that wanna offer public comment are there for the right reasons and that they identify themselves,
Why do they have to identify themselves?
because that's in the policy.
No, but why is it in the policy? If somebody wants to redress their government, why can't they do that anonymously in a board meeting?
They don't have to, I guess, but if it's in the
How do we
policy.
know that it's an American citizen?
Well, why does it matter?
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
when we step
I think we have a
before
right to know who we're
the
talking.
city
Why- no,
council,
why-
you
why
have
do
to
you
not just say your name, but you have to say your address.
Somebody-
Well, they say that's the
Because
policy, but
because- no, but
people
you're
have First
confirming.
Amendment rights.
Well, no, for one thing, you're confirming somebody's living within the district.
Why does it matter?
I just had a gentleman today say, I would run for your budget board, but he said, I live in Cannon Beach. I went, sorry.
Yeah, but if somebody from Cannon Beach wants to come and complain about our lifeguard training,
So
Yeah.
why do we have to know who they are?
That's
part
fine.
of the reason, I believe, is so that we can address the complaint later. So we
And
have-
that's valid, but can we
Yeah.
just tell them that if you want a response, leave your name and number and we'll get back to you?
Potentially. Also, just throwing it out there, we are not required to receive public comment at our board meeting.
Right.
It is,
That's right, we're not.
Well, I think it's really bad policy for us not to listen to people in our community.
which is why we have allowed it.
And I think, and I don't think it's bad policy to ask that they provide their name and address, but I don't think we should exclude somebody from talking to us if they don't want to provide their name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's basic.
Fair. I don't know, I would, the city of Seaside, city of Cannon Beach, Seaside School District, they all have, policies, and I would just maybe follow with their.
And I'm fine with the policy, but I think we ought to know what we're gonna do if somebody refuses to provide their name, and my inclination is to let them speak.
I think that's
No, we
totally
could-
fine.
I mean, people have a right to redress their
I'm
government.
only acting on the
Right.
policy which says a citizen desiring to make public comment should sign in and should state their name and address.
Why do they have to be a citizen?
Kyle, I feel like we have hit a sweet spot or a nerve, whichever way you wanna look at it. I'm not arguing that, I'm just saying this is what's in our policy, and I'm only saying it should be consistent for the in-person folks as it should be for the board.
And I think
Or,
that's-
sorry, for the remote.
That's fair.
Now, if the board decides, if a citizen does not want to sign in or state their name and address, but you still want to accept public comment, the board could vote, or you could decide as the chair, the president, to allow that public comment to go forward, and I don't see any reason why that would be discouraged or even an issue.
And I wanna be careful that we don't do anything to silence our citizens.
That's great. The other recommendation that we had, and this came a little bit from Mark, we used to do this when we had a lot more public comment, but is develop or refine a statement, and that's Appendix D, or the last kind of document in this packet of information that is to be read at the beginning of the public comment period by a member of the board. And,
It was very long when I was there.
Yeah.
so it's, shorter now, it's this statement, looks like this, it's, I don't know, half a page tops.
We have to read that?
You don't
You
have
have
to,
to read that.
you don't have to, and
I
you
can
don't have
sign
to.
it.
It's a suggestion.
I stepped down.
It's a suggestion that it would be in our best interest, I think, and it's something.
Can we print that on the sign-in
You
sheet?
can, yeah.
Well, let's print it on the sign-in sheet for sure, so they know before they get here what the rules are.
Sure. Kyle, you could ask any of your fellow board members or staff to
No,
read
no,
it.
no, no, no.
That's what I said, I can assign it.
You can, yeah.
I think we should have that available for everybody who wants to speak, but, reading it aloud sounds kind of bureaucratic.
Yes, we are going. It used to be a full page.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would like to move that we accept the staff recommendations for updating the public comment policy with the, stipulation that maybe we remove any references to being a citizen and just have it speaker or person.
yeah, I crossed that out throughout my little blue pen.
So is this document here, this resolution, is this gonna be what we're voting on?
So this resolution has already been enacted by the board in 2013. And
That's the old one.
it still stands
Okay.
as policy.
Okay,
But what,
we're gonna update it.
we're not necessarily, well, at least it wasn't my intention to update it, it was my intention to bolster it with these other things to make sure we're updated with the time. Now, if we wanna look at this, we could remove the requirement that it says citizen, and it could just say speaker, but that would be like, I'm gonna bring this to the meeting next month, and it's gonna be a new policy. It's gonna be 2026's public comment policy, not 2013's. Totally fine.
Yeah.
If that's the direction that the board wants to go, I think, it sounds like it is.
Do we have a second?
I'll say it.
Okay, all in favor, Catherine?
Move. Aye.
Sue? So moved.
So move.
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Michael, I'll vote aye, too.
Thank you. All right, just a short update on the budget committee. It's 2026 now, so we've turned the page and we're already working on the budget, for this year. As I shared, in the memo, Tracy has, informed us of his intention to step down from the budget committee, so we thank him for his service. We'll, with the board's approval, we'll begin posting the budget committee vacancy in the next couple of days by the end of the month. And then what I'd like to do is suggest, that we close that application period on March 6th. And then at our March board meeting date, the board would interview any candidates and select a candidate, one candidate to appoint them to the budget committee. I also put 2 potential dates for budget committee meetings. That's the second Tuesday in April, which is the 14th, and the second Tuesday of May, which is the 12th. There has been times in the district's past where we've only needed 1 budget committee meeting. That's been lovely for all of us, I bet, but if that doesn't work, then that's okay, and we can meet on additional days. But that timeline gives the board enough time to move to formally adopt the budget either at their May meeting or their June meeting.
I have a question for March.
Uh-huh,
Since we're probably moving the board meeting,
uh-huh.
do we need to identify a date besides March 6th?
Yeah, so that's just when, I don't think we would need to, but yes, that is on our agenda for discussion in just a minute or two, moving the March board meeting date. So a couple items down from now, but I still think we can keep the application period open until that March 6th date.
Did you say you started advertising?
I did.
Well, Sue has, but we haven't yet. I was waiting for
I told
waiting
Paul
for
this
this
morning.
meeting. But
Know anybody?
we'll advertise later this week.
Okay.
If everything else about this timeline looks,
I don't expect to be at the pool tomorrow,
Anybody have a problem with the
So-
timeline?
you're gonna need to have somebody
take
say
day off
something.
rest, yeah.
And because I've got a name, but I need to run it by you.
Okay.
Be careful, she's always bringing riffraff in.
Hey, that's how we have, that's how, yeah, thank you, Kyle. That's how we got Mark Truax.
Pickleball.
So, I'll take a few minutes. I don't usually provide, I don't, always, I guess, provide this much information about a pickleball survey or a program survey, but I felt like this was relevant and helpful for us as we've talked about pickleball a lot. I know Jay's here, he's one of our active pickleball participants, but we did a pickleball survey kind of in the holiday period. The survey was sent out and then we collected responses over a 2-week period. We got about 14 responses, but we had the QR code posted on flyers and messaged it as much as we could. And then we also, program staff, mainly Zoe and Aaron, and I was present as well, had a pickleball conversation meeting in the SRC library on January 12th to encourage dialogue, take feedback from our pickleball community, and I think that was I thought it was a really helpful meeting. So we asked about district resident status, not citizen, sorry, district resident, because we felt like that was an important data point. Asked about some other basic demographics. This is all in your packet, but I know it's kind of small. How often you participate, so the majority of our participants participate a few times a month or a few times per week.
The majority of the people that respond to
Thank you.
the survey.
Thank you. That's better English, Kyle. What types of pickleball programs do you participate in? So we asked about open play or clinics. Where do you prefer to play? So we are aware that there's other options for pickleball, especially when the weather is nicer. But it does look like a lot of folks that responded, I guess maybe this is correlation, not causation, but they enjoyed playing at our courts. Asked about skill level. I think most of you probably know that pickleball players have a rating that comes with their skill level. Jay could explain this better than me, but the rating is based on some of the functions of the game and how well you play, your skill level, and it helps them get matched up with like skilled folks when they're playing. So we wanted to get a little bit of feedback from people on that. We thought it was important to ask about how much their money that they spend on pickleball each year, including court fees, equipment, etc. How satisfied are you? So we had a wide range of responses here, with some that are very satisfied or satisfied and a few that are dissatisfied. And we tried to kind of tap into that. Asked about the pricing structure. Some were dissatisfied. More people were either neutral or satisfied with the pricing structure according to the survey. How do you rate the sportsmanship? We have had some feedback that there has been a couple of isolated incidents, we hope, of not great sportsmanship or just not great inclusion, but it doesn't seem to be something that we captured here, which is good to see that the majority of our folks felt that there's good sportsmanship. Do you feel welcomed and included? This is a testament to the awesome front desk staff that we have, Haley and the other staff that work with this program, and the majority of our participants. Asked about times that work well, satisfied with the condition of the courts. This was an important thing and something that was brought up in the community meeting, that sometimes the courts can be slippery, sometimes there's residue or garbage from our PBL tournaments which use the courts. We've been trying really hard to clean the courts in between when the PBL tournaments leave late Sunday night and early Monday morning when pickleball gets there. But there has been times where we haven't probably hit great performance in that area.
I have to tell you, thank you, because I didn't feel well enough to go get a magnifying glass. I couldn't read this.
We asked about additional pickleball programs that you'd like to see. So there's a discussion in the meeting about offering more tournaments and more open play times, and that's something that we are working on implementing. I think we'll have more open play time, including some evening times starting after basketball season ends.
So what's the magenta?
Magenta is leagues.
Leagues? Do we have leagues?
Oh, this one? Other or this? Sorry.
Oh, that's orange. Well, it's just a color I hadn't seen.
This one?
Yeah.
It's other. Yeah. And I don't remember what the response was. Sorry. We did say please specify, but I don't remember what they said.
I didn't look at it because I couldn't read it.
And we had some open feedback for things that could be improved on or things that are going well. So there was a number of great feedback points about things that they enjoy about our program, and then some things that we can improve. So one of the pieces of feedback that we've gotten a lot from Jay and from a few others, we made the decision to paint the SRC gym because the old color that we had was there was just a lot of markings and it just didn't look good. So we painted the gym a very bright color, and I think in full transparency we did it without really considering how it would impact the pickleball experience, because the ball can sometimes blend, or be hard to distinguish with that particular color. We've gotten a lot of feedback from our avid players that they would love to see the gym painted a different color, and even support offered in terms of buying the paint or having a volunteer paint party. So I think that will be a project that we tackle after the basketball season has concluded. I think folks had some feedback about the fee structure. The fee structure that we adopted, the district adopted, as you remember, it impacts our out-of-district visitors and guests in a pretty significant way. And yeah, the board changed, by Catherine, the board changed the pickleball fee structure a little bit. I think that was a year ago, right, last January?
Yeah.
But I think there's still some feedback that the fee structure for our out-of-district folks and guests is higher than other places, and that we could attract more participants if there was a lower fee for those folks. So that's a consideration. Yeah, I think all the other feedback, we brought it up at the meeting, but you know, it was kind of isolated, or we've already addressed it as an improvement. Gym floor is slippery, paint, add a hot sauna. I'm not sure if that's going to be doable in the near future, but in the long term maybe. Evening and weekend play. And then it seems that courts are used mainly for pickleball. Why not surface them for that? I'm not sure who that individual was, but as you all know, courts are used for a lot of things, including about 18 basketball games per weekend right now. So every hour, I wouldn't say the court has a primary use, but I think it's a shared court. So we're trying to maintain it to the best of our ability for those different sports.
So the only thing that makes it different as a pickleball court is the striping?
I believe so.
Well, they have a net too.
Yeah,
So.
I think,
Is that okay?
Is that a live picture?
That's frozen. I can't wait.
Oh, my. Fix it, Isaiah.
All I know is I don't feel good.
you might have to come back over.
So I had well,
You know, I had bronchitis 2 weeks ago. I had to get an antibiotic.
better not have it. I mean, I just have something I picked up. But after Kyle's comment, I have a question about the last line.
Sorry,
That
Isaiah.
pickleball thing.
I think everything's connected,
Well, I
it's just not showing up.
Okay.
Sue has a question.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I thought you had a question. There's the very last, pardon me, the very last comment that someone wrote. Okay, if the courts are mainly used for pickleball, why not surface them for that? What does that statement mean? And isn't this where the basketball is played?
Yeah, I just shared that. I'm not sure if they're asking to get rid of the basketball lines. They could be referencing in Gym 2, we don't have that court line for pickleball. There's a lot of other lines from when it was mainly a PE gym. There's badminton lines, and volleyball and basketball, and there's side basketball lines because there's side courts. Thank you. So I'm not sure in reference to what that was about.
So, but to add stripes or lines, whatever, for pickleball, does that mean you have to resurface the court?
It doesn't.
Lines down?
No,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we lined the Gym 1, the court where the majority of our pickleball occurs, we line that ourselves. And I think from what I've heard, it's been great, that the lines are good. And the only other lines on that court are basketball and volleyball, so it's pretty clean. I think if we could improve something, it would be to strip the Gym 2 court and reline it probably just for basketball and pickleball, maybe volleyball too, in that one too.
And they have attachments to put in standards or bollards or whatever you call it.
We use rolling nets that roll out. They're stored somewhere else in the SRC, and then every pickleball day we roll them out and they lock in place. And I think that's fairly common for most of the gyms, at least around here.
But that's why they want a permanent location, so they don't have to schlep the net back and forth. Okay.
I think when we're on our game, which is like to say a lot of the time, our staff is doing that preparation, and we're not leaving that moving of courts or nets to the participants. I'm sure they have helped in the past, and maybe will again, but we try to have the court set up and looking good for them when they get there at 9:30.
Okay. Do you need any board action on this, or just
I
information?
think so. I think this has just been a little bit of a touch point in the last few months. I think if the board was, I guess as we are making budget preparations, pickleball is becoming and is a big part of our programming repertoire, our catalog, and I think it's important for the board to note that it's an emerging sport and it's very popular here.
Very popular. Okay, thanks, Skylar.
Okay, moving on. I feel like I'm talking. Oh, sorry. So, since it's been a couple months since we met, I just wanted to share publicly some of the experiences, the events that we've had. November and December are busy times for the district. We have a lot of stuff going on. But in terms of the larger events, the things that get a lot of recognition, we had an awesome turkey trot experience. Weather was perfect, and we had 611 participants.
That is awesome.
Which is pretty astonishing for a community of our size.
10% of the population ran in the turkey truck.
Yeah. Last year was our biggest year up to that point, and we had 520, so we're up, sizably from last year. And we did have one little wrinkle with the route that we had to work out basically the day before, but other than that, things went really well, and we wanted to thank all of our volunteers and our partners that sponsored the event, and also our ham radio folks, because they do a good amount of work out on the course, keeping our participants safe. So later that day, we served a Thanksgiving meal for folks, and we served 308 meals. About 60% of those were in person, and then a good chunk of them were to-go meals.
Who prepares the meal?
So it's a volunteer-led effort. We get the turkey and mashed potatoes from Safeway, and then our volunteers make all of the other, or we get donations for,
And then we cook the
308.
We cook the turkey here in our
Turkey is
kitchens
cooked
SRC?
at Safeway.
Oh,
Yeah.
at Safeway, it's cooked.
Cooked at Safeway, yeah. We just go pick it up, and then we have to pick it. So there's about 15 turkeys that we pick.
That's awesome.
And I still do my thing where I drive around looking, because there's so many wonderful volunteers in-house. So I go out and look for people who are on the street. And this year, I have to say, there were a whole lot less, but there were some that were afraid to come in, and so I went and took food to them. And I just think that there's so much that we could do to help. And I was grateful to be able to, and, people were going, well, I have a dog. I said, hey, we've got dog food. Come get it. So I was grateful for that, too.
Thank you, Sue.
Some other just stuff kind of the last couple months, we began hosting the Seaside High School swim team at the pool in mid-November, and they've basically been practicing every weekday with us and had their 3 home meets are all concluded now, but it's been a great season for them and something that has been really fun. And we usually try to grab a lot of those swim team participants and funnel them into aquatic
Lifeguard
roles,
program.
lifeguard roles, and swim instructor roles.
That's what happened to me.
That's been successful for us. Other than that, it's just been a busy couple of months, but appreciate the opportunity to serve our community in the ways that we have during that time. I thank our staff for their work too.
Thank you.
Yep. Just a quick transition. As you all know, we have a great partnership, and registration for baseball has opened. We have about 96 kids that are already registered. That's fairly normal. We don't have softball open yet, and t-ball's not open yet. Those kind of start a little bit later in the baseball season. I'm really grateful for our staff. We've been working to coordinate the gear and allocate space in the Hirsch Family Training Facility, that indoor batting cage facility. And if you've seen, we're also working with the city to adjust the field slightly at the North 40. There's a large construction project going on at the old high school field with some apartment apartments that are being built, so that baseball field is slightly impacted by that construction. But
Is that ours?
it's not, it's the cities, but a lot of the two-fan kids teams, the youth baseball teams play there. Yeah. And then the last item under new business, and I will need some direction on this, is our March board meeting is scheduled to occur during what is the Oregon spring break, and in the past, and I think it's great practice, works good for me and for Catherine as well. Usually, the board has moved that meeting to a different date in March. So some options that you could move it would be to move it to Tuesday, March 17th, which is a week before the board meeting would occur. That's St. Patrick's Day, so if that's not a date that you want to choose, the other dates, you could move it to Thursday, March 19th, or you could move it to the 5th Tuesday, which is March 31st. There's 5 Tuesdays in March. I would say that date is probably not ideal, but it's workaround, or any other date that you want. I would encourage you to move it to after about the midpoint of the month, because often financial reports are not able to be completed until around that midpoint of March.
Why is the 31st not ideal? That's 4 weeks away from the next board meeting.
I'm sad and glad that you asked, Kyle, because the only reason it's not ideal is I'm the one who usually generates and publishes the board packet, and I will not be in the area the week before, because I'll be at spring break. So I would be able to publish the board packet, but it would probably be either late, or I could put it on the shoulders of one of my other staff, and they may be able to publish it. That's an option.
So what's your recommendation?
I don't really, St. Patrick's Day is not a holiday that I revere or celebrate in any way as an adult, but I know some people do, and some people really like their St. Patrick's Day experience, so that would be my choice if I was just choosing for myself. But I'm really at the mercy of the board, whichever date works best for the majority of you.
I'm available on the 17th.
Oh, the March sectionals in Boise.
Is that the Ides of March?
Oh, that would be
I'm
yeah,
gonna
right after.
I'm okay.
I'm
with
gonna
the,
be at sectionals,
What date is that?
and that's the 12th through the 15th. So I'll probably return on the 16th, because it makes it kind of tight if I'm gonna read up for.
Yeah.
Can we make it the 19th?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that's a Thursday, that's kind of outside our.
We have done that before, though, in the past. We've moved it to that Thursday before spring break.
Would that accommodate your ability to,
That would be totally fine with me.
although it's probably a good idea to have different staff members put together before that.
That's also true. Darren has helped in the past.
Good.
So if you choose that March 31st, I think we can work around it, figure it out.
19th?
I need to move, a doctor appointment. It's begun. And it's at 4 o'clock in Astoria.
I'm open to suggestions. Skylar, what's your recommendation? We can make it St. Patrick's Day if you want. I mean,
Let's try the 31st. I think there doesn't seem to be any reason to not try it, except for my concern about putting the board packet responsibility onto Darren or
the
something.
next day is April Fool's.
That's true. March 31st it is. But I think it would be best to have a motion for this, since we're moving officially.
I'm open to any day you guys are.
we need a motion, and I'm holding a gavel, so I
So far,
can't.
I don't have any conflicts, I know.
We still need a motion. Skylar wants a motion.
Well, I move that we move the March Sunset Empire Park and Rec, board meeting to March 31st from the 24th.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Sue?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Aye. 31st it is.
We still have a quorum.
Yep, barely. Okay, goals?
Shared a lot about our goals. The majority of my goal time has been working on the things that are already included in our report, the SDCs, the SRC strategic plan, finding contact with EVCS to work on our electrical vehicle charging station. I will say one thing that isn't necessarily a stated goal is to encourage staff development and professional development among staff. And I'm happy to share that we are doing some really great professional development around a book and having some lunch and learn series with our staff. The book is called Super Communicators, and it's teaching our staff and helping us kind of refine some skills in communication, both internally with our own and within our own staff groups and management team, but also externally, staff to patron and staff to board. So happy about that. I didn't have dates. I'm not sure why for this. I knew the March board meeting date was kind of up in the air, but just to note that our February board meeting date is February 24th, and then SDAO conference is in Seaside, as you know, and that is February 5th through the 8th. So just in
Skylar, did you send me that?
I did. Yeah.
Do I need to pay for that, or is it?
No, the district has resources for the board to
Okay.
have some professional development training and things like that.
And I would encourage my colleagues on the board to spend a
I
day.
don't know what my children are planning. My birthday is the 8th.
February 8th?
Which
Super
is
Bowl
Monday.
Sunday.
Huh?
Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, good.
Maybe you're gonna go watch the Seahawks play.
Seahawks.
That's all my report.
Can I learn what's the ED stand for?
Executive Director.
Thank you. I was going to emergency department.
Be careful.
All right, I'm done. Done talking.
Okay, sorry, I just have to
Say something.
make sure I have my notes.
I actually had something to say.
Well, you have your chance now, board comment.
Okay. I need to go home. So I won't, I promise not to be at the Chamber of Commerce meeting tomorrow morning. So, I just feel awful. So let me tell you, my board comment is a gratitude toward Marty, frustration toward Marty because we are trying. And I know that her comment is that we aren't listening, we aren't doing anything, and the hard part for me is we are listening, we are talking about different techniques, like the grippy things, whatever, duck things that Catherine's mentioned. We are trying, and I am encouraged that the day after the pool was shut down, positive comments were generated by everyone, including Marty. And I am on puddle patrol. Every day I'm at the pool. As I have said, I take pictures only if it is vacant. If there's one person in there, I will not be generating a camera to take a picture. I have shared those pictures with Courtney to say I have brought staff in with me to look at, we're on puddle patrol, come with me. And I have, brought different females in there to say, see, this is where there's a consistent puddle. The only place I see that, and the time frame was 11 o'clock. That was generated by Marty's comment. Well, I'm in there at 11 o'clock, almost 5 days a week. So that's why at 11 o'clock, I will say, here I am, I'm doing puddle patrol, come with me, female. So I have been grateful to hear positive things about the men's locker room. Again, I will not walk in there. The point is, we're listening, and I'm sorry that it is frustrating that there is concern that we aren't listening, and I don't know how to fix that, but we are listening. I'm grateful for our employees of the month, Michaela and Matt. I just cannot say enough good things about, we had some lifeguards step away, and here comes Matt, along with another dozen people, and I'm just very grateful for the leadership that he excels at. and it makes it fun at the pool. I'm grateful to hear and frustrated to hear, all the ins and outs of people that we've been waiting, to get occupancy. We've been waiting for, things to get done, and all of a sudden, people have lives and they move on and they leave the positions, and that puts us in a role of trying to explain to the public, well, why isn't this done? And we've got people saying, this should have been done. Well, you're right, it should have been done. But when the people that are leading us and helping us to choose and to get the best information, when they leave, then we have to regroup and figure out how to come at this. And so I appreciate the public's frustration with that. I mean, the board is interested in moving forward and getting, putting a bow on this, these several different projects. And it is hard when it has to wait and wait again and wait again. I'm very grateful for Courtney. He and I have conversations. I've showed him the pictures of the quote-unquote puddle control that I do. There haven't been many because the locker room is busy. So, but I say, I'm not in there by myself. So there are two of us who have said, this is the only puddle we see. And the biggest puddle is, a tiny bit where you can skip some water forward if you try to, right outside the second female stall. And there's a space where you're walking, go back to the showers back there. So there is a spot, but I never hear anyone talk about that's the slippery spot. As far as, I'm very grateful for the work that Tracy did with us, with the budget committee, and I wish him nothing but wellness as he steps away, and we will move forward, and we'll find somebody to step in and move forward in a very good role that he occupied for quite a while. And just my gratitude and my appreciation to Tracy. I'm grateful for the turkey trot information and the feeding that we do. I always am the one that wishes we were doing more, but I'm glad that we have a pickleball survey and we can move forward with information to basically help each other. I think this team continues to be a positive role model of 5 people and Skylar, with us, that we work together and we listen to our patrons. And I think that, I'm trying to figure out how to say it. I had an opportunity, Skylar went with me on Friday to my quote-unquote third gym, which was the Multnomah Club. I was honored with a 50-year pin, and I thought, let's go look at the facilities and see what we can learn from that. Guess what? They don't have an arthritis class. I went back and I pinned down 2 people because I said, you're not answering my question. What are you doing? Well, guess what? They aren't doing what we're doing. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to tell you, you aren't offering something I need. And I am quite shocked that all the fanciness that you offer here, there's a basic need that you kind of ignored. And
What was on the floor of the women's shop?
I did not walk in there. Hey, Skylar, how come we didn't say that?
We didn't go in the locker room on a tour.
I want to go see your locker room. I mean, I've been a member there, like I said, 50 years, and I started swimming there when I was 6. The bottom line is, I never had any slips. And you didn't see people slip, you didn't hear about it, but I was a kid. So, I'm grateful for the work we do with, I've already addressed, women's locker room, we're trying, getting that IBCS charging station and helping with the dog park. I mean, we're listening to people. So And, you know, Skylar, I'm really surprised, I'm not surprised, I'm pleasantly grateful that you guys are working on communication skills with each other. Having come from Providence, where management kind of siloed that kind of skill with their books, I remember saying to the manager, the person telling me, how do you know about this book? And I said, I'm doing it in my master's program, and the comment was, oh, we're not, I said, what a great idea to open this to the staff. Oh, we're not teaching the staff, just the managers. And I said, shame on you, because we all need to communicate, and I think what a very forward-thinking process to include the entire staff, you know, so kudos to you for that. And I simply think that's, I have had to be in the hot tub more commonly because of a couple injuries recently, and I've been reading the board, you know, and I would encourage, if you go into the hot tub, go read the names of the people. There were 13 board members in 1997. Did you know that?
There was
Mary Blake's got her name in the center, and then 13 names are stretched across there. And as you read these names, it's just interesting. It's a who's who of who was here in 1997 for getting the hot tub and, you know, getting the functions put together. And it's just, there's a lot of people that have passed away that were, you know, just so, you know, so driven to make, you know, the Sunset Pool and to make, you know, long before SRC was an idea, because that was Broadway Middle School then, but to look at the hub and the fact that we are looking at making an opportunity for people to move and be healthy, and I think that is an admirable quality, and I'm grateful to be part of this team. And that's enough. Thank you.
So you're not going to attend the SDO thing because of your birthday?
I don't know. I told my children, if you're doing something for my birthday, let me know, because, you know, I'll have something else to do. But they told me to keep the weekend open. So
What day is your birthday?
Sunday.
Sunday, okay. Michael?
Oh, okay. Well, for me, I'm really proud of being on this board and working for this district. You know, today is a day of remembrance, and today is a day to remember the Holocaust and the ravages of fascism. And I'm glad I grew up in a community. I had a lot of Jewish friends, and I cherish and remember all of them, and some of the finest people that I know. But I'm happy that our park district serves the diversity in the community here and beyond, you know, and all the other people that visit here, and part of, you know, respecting the voices of others. We forfend the day that our democracy would fail and people would forget about what a constitution was about. Anyway, that's what's been on my mind kind of a lot today. Was thinking about that and things going on in the world that sometimes seem like a reflection of fascism, but hopefully it's not. So we will have to work toward that day. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mike. Just a couple comments. Marty, we're working on it, you know. We are doing everything we can behind the scenes. I know it doesn't look from your perspective like a lot is happening, but there's a lot happening, and we're going to fix this. We're going to find a solution, but it's going to be a quality solution. It's not going to be a fast solution. Matt and Michaela, you guys are awesome. I'm glad you're on our team, and I hope you stay for a long time, because you're really valuable to us. Courtney, nice presentation. Very, very efficient, clean presentation. A lot of respect for those guys who do that. And this may be a question, Skylar. The vehicle accident in the park, in the little park, that's the one that we just put all the, I don't know, benches and all that stuff in a couple of years ago. I don't know when it was, but it was recently.
Yeah.
But isn't that park owned by the city?
It is.
So then we manage the repair and all that stuff, and the.
Yeah, the repair's gonna
The
be
insurance
covered
claim.
by our insurance claim, and we actually have the same local insurance provider as the city, so.
So how can the insurance company insure property that we don't own?
Great question. I think, that's not unique to that specific property, and our insurance provider is well aware of the dynamics. So like this property, for instance, Broadway Field, I mean, we're labeled, you know, as a co-insurer, you know, of those
Oh, yeah,
patients,
okay.
right? And so I think this is no different than those.
But when you applied for insurance, you applied for our insurance or on the city's insurance?
It was our property that was damaged. The park space wasn't damaged, but it was our sandbox, if you will. And we had only put any resources into that space because we got a large grant to improve the amenities of the space, so that's why we had purchased those tables.
So we got a grant to improve somebody else's
We did.
space?
So it's space that our youth programs team, our kiddos use every day when it's not raining.
Can we just give the city like $2 and buy that?
I love that.
20 square foot park
I
frame?
honestly think that they would be open to it as well, when current issues that are taking a lot of the city time are passed.
Go away.
Yeah.
Okay, well, long term,
Yeah.
that's just confusing. I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna maybe light a fire, but the Chinese have a saying, if you plan for a year, grow rice. If you plan for 10 years, grow a tree. And if you plan for 100 years, educate your people. And I think you're doing the right thing with educating your people. But in the context of planning, and I know that, so we only have a working draft right now, but we're gonna need a new pool. And I don't know if we're gonna need a new pool in 10 years, or 15 years, or 2 years, but long term, I think this board needs to start focusing on what we're gonna do to replace the pool. We got time. We gotta figure out a financial plan. We have sort of a plan in the thing about what it's gonna cost, and I think it was 10 or 12 million, which is more than I thought, but, so we got a 10 or 12 million expense, maybe 10 years out in front of us.
Well,
Or maybe less.
you should be in the hot tub with me with a conversation about when's the new pool coming.
Well, but I think it's time to start having those conversations.
And that's what we did.
And that's why I'm bringing it up now. I mean, we've got a lot of planning time in front of us. It's not an emergency right now, but I think it's time to start laying out the financial structure, start thinking about design, start thinking about some other things, because we can't let this pool fail. You know, if it fails and we can't serve our community, I think it's gonna be difficult for us. And I don't know anything about building pools. You know, there's a lot of things that you guys would know, but I think long term, let's start thinking about that. And that's all I have. Unless you have something more. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor, say yee-haw.